Over the last few months, I have been microdosing mushrooms. Straight up, this is what the mushrooms look like. They're not the illegal kind. I just want to be really upfront before you begin this video. They're gummies. They are totally okay to take. Hey, welcome back to Ash on Film. I have been running the experiment for the last few months where I take a small amount of mushrooms every morning to see what impact it has on my focus and productivity. I had heard of microdosing a while back because it's been reported in a few articles, but that's like the hard Class A psychedelic drugs. And I hope those people are okay. I am just taking some legal gummies and talking about the effects that they had on me. And does the fact that it took me several months to make this video mean that they had an impact? Yes. If you had told me in my early 20s that taking mushrooms every day was considered healthy and a lifestyle choice, I would have been quite excited to live in the future. It's rare that you get excited for the future of society. But taking medicinal herbs and fungi 10-15 years ago wasn't really a thing, and especially not ones that are adjacent to the full-blown illegal thing. But like lots of good experiences in life, it all starts with illegal drugs. In a 2019 article, The Guardian explored the microdosing scene, reporting on people who were taking doses of psychedelic drugs so tiny they're considered to be subperceptual? In other words, you don't feel high from them, you just feel better. It's a trend that first emerged in San Francisco less than a decade ago. Unlike the hippies who flocked to the city in the 60s, these new evangelists of psychedelic drugs were not seeking oblivion. Quite the opposite. While a full tripping dose of LSD is about 100 micrograms, online forums began to buzz with ambitious tech workers from Silicon Valley eulogizing the effects of taking 10 to 20 micrograms every few days. Others used magic mushrooms. While both drugs are illegal in the US and the UK, increasing numbers claimed that tiny amounts were making them more focused, creative, and productive. In a later article, The Guardian, and I'm sorry for using the same source here, but they have covered it really well, talked about the bridge from illegal drugs to the healthy high industry. Dr. Ian Musgrave, a lecturer in pharmacology at the University of Adelaide, said there are a number of natural substances like herbs and fungi that can produce highs. He talked about how Indigenous communities have been using these herbal highs for generations for things like ceremonious and medicinal purposes, and that there's more understanding of their benefits now than ever before. And so the healthy high industry emerged, offering products that offer a range of health benefits, trying to reproduce the effect of illegal drugs, using compounds that are not illegal but produce similar effects. The article says that much of the industry's attention is around nootropics, which are said to increase mental alertness and focus. Now, this article and others are extremely critical of the healthy high industry, mainly because the products that they claim to have these health benefits have not undergone rigorous testing that most medical products have to undergo. There have also been a few reports of people experiencing hallucinogenic side effects from mushroom gummies, where the brands have used too much of a substance, and there appears to be a loophole where things that are banned as foods because they're not good for our health can be used in supplements and gummies. I am very fortunate that I have not had any negative side effects, really. So you can take the supplement in a powder form where you mix it with hot water, similar to coffee or tea, but I only got into coffee like 2 years ago and I am not ready to supplement it with something else. So I opted for the gummy form of mushroom, and I had seen loads of ads for this company, Feel Gud. They send you a 1-month supply in a bottle like this. It uses lion's mane, cordyceps, reishi, and chaga. Not confident that I've said any of those correctly. It says on the bottle, they work to help improve cognitive function, boost immunity, elevate energy levels, and much more. They recommend that you have 2 a day to feel the full effect, and you can either take 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, or you can take them both at the same time. I opted to take them both at the same time in the morning. My first thoughts were, this doesn't taste good. I had a bit of a cold the first time I tried it, but genuinely I thought it tastes weird. They are natural raspberry flavour according to the packaging, but they do not taste like any raspberries I've ever had. After the first week or so, the taste got a lot better, but I don't know if I just became used to it or if I genuinely wasn't tasting properly that first week. I took them every morning for 30 days. And incidentally, in April, I was working for 30 consecutive days. So it was a very good time for me to boost my energy and focus. And it's a good time for me to point out that I don't really struggle with focus. I actually find it quite easy to get into the flow state if I'm very motivated to do something, but I really wanted to explore what kind of feeling I would get from taking something that's designed to boost your energy and focus. And in the first week, honestly, I didn't feel a big difference. But in the second week, they definitely kicked in. In terms of work, I was able to get an edit done in 4 hours, which usually would take me a full day, although that didn't mean that I had any extra time because I had lots of edits to do, so I was just able to do more, I guess. But on top of that, in the second week of taking these gummies, I got some rather dismal news that affected my plans and career growth, I guess. So I decided to start my own company and subsequent YouTube channel. Now I'm gonna try to make this not be an ad for my other channel. That is not the intention here, but it is what happened when I took these mushroom gummies. And I'm gonna have to talk about it quite a lot. Basically, this very big opportunity that I've been working on for months fell through. And so I felt kind of disappointed for about an hour. And I was like, what am I going to do about this? And I sat down with a pen and paper and I just wrote down all the ideas I had, and very shortly came to the conclusion that I was going to start my own production company and YouTube channel. I had never really done a strategy like this before. I started this YouTube channel and I really didn't know what I was making content about. I made content about things that interested me at the time and then slowly found a niche in weird, abstract, new age stuff. But I never had a vision for what I was going to create. Funnily enough, I have had visions thanks to what I created. But my main vocation is in editing and animation, and over the last few years I've taken lots of opportunities to branch out into directing and growing a career as a filmmaker. And sadly, when this opportunity fell through, it really put up a blockade on the next level for me. And when I was writing, what can I do about this? It was like my brain was making connections that it had never made before. Suddenly, all of the experience that I had and all of the things I knew about the film industry came crashing together, and things I'd learned recently mixed with things from the past. The connections thing is something that other people talk about when they describe mushroom trips. And I know I definitely didn't have it as intensely as people who take a proper, hefty dose of mushrooms do. But that is what I felt like in the moment where this idea hit me. 2 weeks into taking them, I decided I would never live without these mushrooms again. And I signed up for a subscription. And I continued taking them the rest of April. I came up with a business plan. I plotted out my content on a spreadsheet. I spent weeks designing the branding for my new channel and designing merch. Then I decided that on top of doing a YouTube channel, I would get my company to actually make a short film so that we could prove we could do it, and started planning that as well. And that took a lot of time. On top of having a job 7 days a week. It was one of the most productive months of my life, and I didn't feel physically different, but I was just aware that I was so much more productive than I had been before. In May, I stopped working every day, and this gave me more time to focus on my new venture. And also I got a new bottle of gummies in the post. But something happened where I stopped taking them every day. It was like I just forgot. Some days I would remember to take them, some days I wouldn't, and there wasn't that same alert in my head that I had in April that was like, take these and keep pushing. And maybe that was a psychological effect from knowing that I had a lot on my plate that month, and my brain was just more aware of what I could do to keep myself going. Whereas in May, I had more downtime and I was planning things further ahead, so I don't think I had that sense of urgency and you need energy. At the end of May, I shot my first film with my new production company, and I remember after the shoot feeling like I could not wait to take a mental break. I don't think I made a conscious link between the mushrooms and exhaustion. I think subconsciously I just stopped taking them. And it was a very strange moment when another bottle of them arrived in the post and I still had most of the last bottle still to go. So I put my subscription on pause. I personally had an intense experience with mushroom gummies, but I am prone to bursts of productivity in dismal circumstances. During the first lockdown, I started this YouTube channel, as well as completed a course and learned French and sewed a dress and wrote a TV pilot and learned to animate umpteen things. I think it's in my personality and brain chemistry to be proactive and to have projects. And I think the mushroom gummies accelerated some of those traits and pushed me into a state of hyper productivity. I have still been taking them, not consistently, and sometimes I'll just take one rather than two because, I don't know, part of me thinks that this is useful, but part of me just doesn't want to be on overdrive every single day. And honestly, when I get to the end of this bottle, I don't know if I'm going to order more or if I'm just going to let this be an experience that happened at this time in my life. The good news is that I have continued to post on my other channel and it's going really well. I aim to show the behind the scenes of my life as a filmmaker in Scotland, so if that interests you, then feel free to check it out. But I would love to hear if you've had a mushroom experience. I am sure there are lots of people who've had a way bigger experience than I have. See you next time.